Let's go. Greetings, my friends, and welcome to silk screened charm cuffs. These are pretty easy and lots of fun. I've already done it a couple of times, and you'll see that in this video. These are made with Sculpey Primo Pearl. That's just under a package there. It's probably 3/4 of a package. And that's on a number 1 setting, and that's a 2 by 7 inch strip laying there. And it's a pretty easy way to make a bracelet. I inserted bindings on the ends like that, and just jump rings in the bottom. You could put as many charms on there as you want to. I just put 3 on there. And I used my Easy Cuffs kit for the form. Added those little buttons on the sides really just for interest. And I used the template that comes with the Easy Cuff kit to cut my strips 1/2 inch. I silk screened it with just some acrylic paint. That's Folk Art in Berry Wine. And I keep it upside down so it'll flow. Some findings that you probably have at home. So it's easy to cut it, and it's easy to match it if you have something to use as kind of a guide, and you might just use a ruler and something you have. Now these are Moiko silk screens, and I have to say I recommend them. These have been used many times already, and they look like new. And she's got a clever way of making sure you don't flip them upside down, which I think is a problem for everyone. I know I've done it. And I'll show you that in a little bit. This scraping tool is from Home Depot, I think. And I was thinking about getting a lot of them for you because it's really a good scraper, and I will try to do that. I also have some water around, because when you use your silk screens, if you want to keep them nice, you got to drop them in there right after you peel them back. Okay, just put them right into the water, and then you could go wash it later. So we're going to start with our strip, and that's on a number 1 setting. It's 2 inches wide, it's 7 inches long. That's a little more than we need for 2 1/2-inch strips, but you'll see later that it's kind of good to err on the side of more material than you need. And you're going to want to center up your motif. See where it says Moiko up there? It's really small, but believe me, it says it. Well, if you can read that, you've got the right side. And that's really good, because this doing the wrong side business has been a problem for everybody. We've all done it. You get that blurry design, because it was upside down. So if you can read the word Moiko the right way, then that's the side that needs to be up. So I centered that there because, we have that white space on each end of the bracelet, and that's how we got that. So the only really tricky part of this is the only thing is that you don't want to really get the paint on the white parts. It's not going to look right because they're going to have the little buttons and stuff. It's a different thing. So put down a strip of paint, right about that much. You don't need loads. You probably use a little bit less, but that's a good way to start. I have that little dab there in front. That's how I make sure it's flowing before I squirt it onto the silk screen. And I'm going to take my scraper and I'm going to go almost to the edge, but not all the way, so that it doesn't accidentally get on the white part. Now you might be using a bigger silk screen. There's a lot of nice ones out there, and maybe you're going to go end to end, and that's fine. This is just the design that I made, and that's what I'm showing you how I did that. So wipe off your squeegee and just even up your paint on there. It's not the end of the world if it's a little bit lumpy, but I think you get a better result if you leave an even amount of paint on your surface. Okay, so I'm being careful not to extend it too far, and that looks good like that. So I'm going to take off my silk screen, see how my design looks, and I'm going to drop it right into the water before it gets dried out, and that way they'll last you a really long time. So I've got a good design there. I'm going to lift it up with my blade. I'm going to be careful not to stretch it, and I'm going to put it off to the side to dry. Now see, I've got my other silk screens because I'm just silk screen crazy. I just had to have these 3, see. And I'm going to make some stuff out of them because they really make cute jewelry. And I wanted those little buttons, but you know, I'm not going to waste all this. So I'm going to make the medallion. You see that alcohol? That's what I clean it off the squeegee with. See how it comes off really clean, huh? Anyway, I'm going to squeeze a little bit out like I always do. Make sure it's not going to splat. I'm going to put a line here. We don't have to be as careful because we're just saving these circles now, but need about that much paint, and that's plenty for these 3 motifs. And screen like you just did. And now we're really just concerned with covering the motifs completely. And the margins are not such a big deal. We know those circles are going to have paint on them. And when it is to your liking and as even as you can make it, you peel it back and you get some really pretty results. So I've got to let those dry also. And when they are, I'll start cutting them, and I'll show you how we made that jewelry and really how easy it is. You do need round cutters, you know, but I bet you have that already. So you see, now I'm going to bring out my little templates, and I want 2 1/2-inch strips because I want the inside to be pretty like the outside. I'm going to trim off the edge that I don't want, and because it's clear, you know, I can select the area of the silk screen that I do want. I'm going to cut 2 strips exactly the same as much as possible. It's okay, it's clay. We can, you know, always modify it. And see that little place down there that I missed with the ink, with the, you know, the paint? We don't care about that because that's the reason that we made it 2 inches wide to begin with, so that if we want to alter it or change it or not show a part where we didn't get the paint, like me, well, you've got plenty of space there to move it over. And you're not, you know, just down to the very wire. So always make a little bit of extra really in everything that you do. It's also 7 inches long, which is longer than the easy cuff forms. But you're going to see that we need that too. So I'm going to lay down. And I'm not going to squeeze on them too much when I put them together. I'm just going to line up the sides. And yeah, it's a little bit sticky. All the metallics are a little bit sticky. It's not as sticky as the translucent, but you're going to see it's kind of, you know, fights you back a little bit, but that's alright. It's got a beautiful shimmer when it's cured and top coated. It's just, you know, it's really worth it. I'm going to stick it on there. Now, you just want to make sure that you have it pretty even so that your white starts at the same spot, you know, and your pattern starts at the same spot. Now I'm going to goof around with it at high speed for a couple minutes, so we'll do that, you know, as fast as possible, and it's still like sort of boring, but you're just trimming it, you're settling it, you're evening it out. If you want to, you texture it. That's my fancy screwdriver tool. And really, you're just making it the way you want it to be, you know, getting it as nice as you can. So now that we're slowed back down, we're going to put in our findings. And you're going to need it to be symmetrical. It's going to really be noticeable if you don't center up that middle. And that's why I'm working on graph paper like that, because the graph paper is under my glass. And I can see at a time, you know, like this, where my center is. And I'm just going to press that into the little slit that I made. And they stay really well, but I do recommend a drop of super glue after it's baked, because, you know, you don't want it to ever wiggle around. They settle into there very nicely. You never want to just depend on that. And then I'm going to have the 2 off to the sides. And as I said, in your design, you might want to put them all the way around and really close together. Or maybe you just want to put one special charm just right in the center, a charm that you really like. So, you know, you probably have a little hoard of them. I know you people. Like you're my people. Kind of a bracelet. You have charms. Okay, so now that you've handled it a little bit, you see how it's going to squeeze out. You can see how it's going to move a little bit. Just slice that off. It still looks great. Nice, pretty clean edge like that. And put in your end rings. Now those can be those bails like you have. Some of my kits have those bails in them, which is really cool. They look really pretty in this design. And some of my kits have rings because they're a smaller scale. And some people like that for a smaller bracelet. But whatever you got. You gotta make sure it's even,
So
it's
now
laying
I've got a
nice and
ring
flat,
that's nice and flat.
and you're gonna pop it
It's going to go
into that
this
slit.
place right here. You leave that
Squeeze
sticking
down
out
just a
as
little
far as
bit.
you want to.
And those are easy
you
to
like
settle down. And don't forget you got your buttons you're going to put on there. So if you, have some difficulty there with your ends, the buttons are very forgiving. I got lucky on mine, but you never know. So those buttons can be placed any place that you need them to be, either for decor or to settle in the hardware. So now this is dry. We can cut these circles. And I'm making a little easy pendant since I've got everything out, and these earrings. The earrings are just the outside of the buttons. And the pendant is just with a big cutter. So, graduated cutters, we all have those. They're good to have. So when you center that up, take your time on that because it's pretty noticeable if it's off center. There's been some I cut into a crescent shape because they were so off center they were never going to be round, but do what you got to do. You've already gone this far. You don't want to, give up on it. So we made our medium-sized circle cuts. I just skipped over to that because, who wants to watch me cut clay? And I'm popping those centers down in there. And so it's really, really easy now, even though it's soft, even though it's getting warmer, it's really working out. It's very flexible. And you're going to pick up your pieces and start to get them ready to bake. This is my super sophisticated light bulb in a jar tool, and I can put any size clay on here and make it be a dome, right? If you can find a light bulb like this, oh my gosh, I'm such a relic. So anyway, you put your hand on there and it warms it up a little bit and then allows you to settle it down. Be sure you go around those edges though, would you? Because you don't want them wavy. So kind of settle down the edges, right? It's going to turn out perfect. It always turns out perfect. You can put a hole in it now if you want to, or you can drill yours. I like to drill yours, but that's just simply because I like to bust out the drill and make holes. Okay, so you're going to take these out, and now you've got these pretty little things left. And not like you want to just toss them. So you've got your buttons that you were wanting, but you've also got those extra dealies to make into earrings, right? So place your buttons where they need to be. I place them all different places. I always like it. I'd like to do a whole cuff that's just those buttons. Wouldn't that be the cutest thing? So maybe I will. So you're going to pop those on with a little bit of bacon bond. And they're going to stick like crazy. It's great stuff. That's by Sculpey, our buddies. And make sure that they're symmetrical. One needs to be pushed back a little bit. It's pretty slippery, that glue. So we've got everything ready to bake. And same thing with these. You can make the holes now. You can make the holes later. But I'm going to go ahead and bake them up like this. So here they are. I have clear coated them and I put them together just the way I want to. You'll see the dangle on that medallion. That's just an earring from my last bracelet that I made. And I only had one earring because I messed the other one up, so I thought it would make a really pretty dangle with the elephant. And you just attach them with a jump ring. So depending on which direction the loop goes, see, on your charm, you're just going to attach them with one or two jump rings, and they dangle really nicely either way. And they're finished on the inside and the outside because the way that you put them together will be really pretty. And the pearl just shines through that silk screen in this beautiful way that I just love. So I hope you've enjoyed this. These kind of projects really lend themselves to everybody's taste because there's hundreds of silk screens, hundreds of clay colors, and hundreds of charms. So, make it just the way you want to and enjoy yourself with it. See you next time. Bye-bye.